Ariel Helwani in Las Vegas alongside Tim Kennedy, who meets Luke Rockhold on July 14th for the Strikeforce middleweight title. And Tim, I must say, you're a great fighter, and I respect you a lot. It is hard for me to look at you in the eyes right now and not see the wig, the dancing, the Katy. It's just, I can't get that. Props to you, but are you finding this to be a problem? Are people having a hard time taking you seriously now?
I felt really natural when I was Katy Perry. I just could really connect with how she sang, and I just wanted to let that flow. So, I know I have to step back into the cage and fight. So I'm trying to get back to that fighter mentality. But I miss Katy. Yeah, the Katy in here.
Right. Is this something that you and your team maybe came up with and said, we need to do more of this stuff to raise your profile? We know about the issue that the Strikeforce fighters have with the UFC sun sort of eclipsing them. Is this something that you kind of came up with on your own, or someone told you to do this? How did it all come about?
I'm like 6-1 or 5-1 with Strikeforce. Fought for the title, wins over like their marquee guys, and I can still be like, hey, I fight for Strikeforce, and people are like, you do what? I'm like, I'm a mixed martial artist. Like, so are you a UFC fighter? I'm like, no, I fight for Strikeforce. And just a blank expression of like, okay, you're meaningless to me. So I was like, all right, I really need to do something else. So maybe somebody will know who I am. So if they can view me as Katy Perry and, instead of nobody, that's, better maybe.
How does this feel? You're here at this sort of Zuffa luncheon. You're getting kind of the rub at a UFC event. It's the first time that you're in the main event since the purchase and all this stuff. Do you feel as though now they're starting to pay attention to you?
Yes, it's fantastic, but I don't care. I fight to fight the best guys. I just want to fight the best guys on the planet. And if we did it, in an Indian casino in some nowhere land in California in the desert like we used to, like I did then, nothing's changed. Like we had no notoriety then. We barely got paid anything. I just fought to fight, and nothing's changed. So I still just want to fight the best guys.
Let's clear something up here. People accuse me of being an instigator. I very much disagree. But on the broadcast, the Barnett versus Cormier broadcast, you did an interview cage side with Heidi Androl, who I think does a fantastic job. But she was kind of calling you out, saying that you were ducking Luke Rockhold. Where did this come from, and why'd they call you out on the Showtime broadcast?
I have no idea. Fortunately, I'm kind of like okay with people ambushing me. It's like happened. That was a pun. Yeah. So, oh, are you ducking Luke Rockhold? I'm like, are we doing a Showtime interview? Like, what are you doing? Can I tear your throat out later? And I was totally fine with it until we step away, and then she goes to apologize. I'm like, listen, you're a journalist. That's your job. Just don't apologize to me afterwards. Just be a journalist and do your job, and don't try to be my friend. I don't know where it came from. We're supposed to fight a couple of times. One time his shoulder got hurt, and that fight didn't happen. Another time was going to be for the title, and they came to me with 3 weeks notice, and they're like, hey, can you do a 5-round fight, in 3 weeks? And I was like, no, dude, I just got off getting ready, Brian Stann ready for Chael Sonnen. I've been training for 2 months, and now I've done nothing for a month, and I'm not going to be ready in 3 weeks for a 25-minute fight. Toes jacked up, body hurts after a hard fight camp. And so, a fight not materializing a couple of times, I think people are like, what is going on here? Now I would love to fight Luke now, always have. He's a great fighter, not recognized for how good he is, so I'm excited.
Has this been a frustrating few months for you because you have been inactive? Has that been tough?
I've been able to train and improve on a lot of things that I think I need to get better at, so it's been a great time for me, especially knowing that I'm going to get ready for the title, to know who I'm going to be fighting. It's been clear that Luke's going to be the guy, so I've been not preparing for Luke for 10 months, but knowing hey, here's some things that I don't do well. I need to get better. So I've utilized those 10 months as most efficiently as I could. Of course, I would have loved to fight. We get paid when we fight. I don't get paid to train. That'd be a great job, but that's not our job. Our job is to fight. So, I've been on welfare for 2 months now. Unemployment is not what it used to be. So, it's just great to get back in there.
I'm not going to go the political route, even though you're trying to bait me into this, because all you Strikeforce guys, for some reason, always want to talk politics. There has been some sort of chatter that, I don't know if you know this, but in March, Strikeforce and Showtime did this cool promo with Misha Tate and Ronda Rousey. It was, it was a little different, a little sexy, a little avant-garde, so to speak. And there's been some chatter that the female Strikeforce fans want to see you and Luke, because let's be honest, good-looking guys, I can say that, in the same sort of setting, just sort of showing a different side of you. Are you interested in that? And have they approached you about that?
We've talked about it. I know I'm a great-looking guy, and I think I can say that Luke is also a beautiful man. As long as you don't refer to the photo shoot that we will do as a French phrase, because that's just not how I do my photo shoots, then I'd be totally up for it.
Oh, wow. Well, that is good news for the female fans out there. All right, so you think about Luke. You said you've been thinking about him for 10 months or so, game planning, so to speak. How do you beat this guy? I mean, he's looked so good as of late. Just beat Jardine, beat Jacare, man, something about. How do you beat him?
I think a fighter like Luke lures people into his range and his timing, similar to the way John Jones does. They're strangely built for their weight class, and people naturally, even unconsciously, start fighting at a range and a distance that doesn't benefit them. I'm not going to fight Luke's fight. I think to beat Luke, you have to fight your own fight. And, I think he, is expecting a takedown, the whole time. If a takedown happens, awesome. I know I hit hard. I know I have pretty decent jiu-jitsu. So, I think this fight's going to be all over the place. And I think for me to beat Luke, I have to beat him in more than just one area.
All right, final thing, you said you've been in the sport a long time. Maybe you haven't gotten the respect that you deserve. Luke Rockhold finally starting to get the respect that he deserves. He's finally creeping into people's. It's coming slowly. Do you think that if you beat him, you will then start to be talked about as a top 10 fighter, as a guy who can hang with the UFC guys? No, you don't believe that?
No. On what top 10 ranking is Luke Rockhold on top 10?
You're looking at the top 10s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. We're not on there. We've never been there. Every single, website almost completely ignores us, as if we don't exist. Some have us up and barely breaking the top 50. That's blows my mind. Luke Rockhold is, I think, one of the top 5 fighters on the planet. I also think that I am, but for us to be excluded in a realm of getting not even notoriety, but just respect as hey, these guys have skills and they should be understood as being very talented fighters is not happening. So I don't know. I beat him, then I beat Jacare. I doubt it still. He beats me, and now he's cleaned out the division. Derek Brunson's there. He's undefeated and always hungry. But really, there's nobody else for Luke. I doubt that he'd get the recognition that he deserves.
Well, let's just say on Saturday, July 14th, Luke Rockhold and Tim Kennedy will be fighting for the Strikeforce middleweight belt and your respect. So tune into Showtime. This man goes up for the Strikeforce title, and we look forward to it very much. And we hope we may see a couple more videos along the way.
I think you will.